So the Black Ops 6 beta has just dropped and we're going to fly through the settings as well as giving you a quick guide to how the new movement works. So I'm not a keyboard and mouse player, I want to get that out of the way really quickly, and we are going to go over settings as well as PC graphics settings, but we are using controller, and currently I'm using a PS5 standard controller. I usually do use the Pro controller, but I do want to just get some baseline standard settings here for everyone to use whilst we're getting used to this game. So first of all, button layout is default, stick layout is default, horizontal and vertical stick, you can choose whatever you want. It's going to be quite similar to what we're used to in previous games, so this can be whatever you've set it to before, so don't mess around with that too much because I'm pretty sure you've dialed in your own aim settings anyway on COD titles if you played anything recently. Simplify controls, we do not want to do this because you do want to fine-tune your own controls, so don't select this because it gives you default settings that are at the side of the screen at the moment, and we want our own settings, okay? So don't do the simplify controls. Low motor strain we want off. What this does is kind of reduces all the kind of dead zones to make it a little bit easier and you don't have to kind of push your stick as hard or press the buttons as hard. But to be honest, you can just fine tune that yourself, to be honest, once again, so we don't really need them to do that. Bumper ping, if you've used this then you can select it, but that's up to people that do use it. Switching the button layouts as well, again, that's for people who do use it. I personally like to keep it standard even on the Pro controller as well. Vibration off, trigger effect off, and dead zone inputs I do have changed slightly, so you can copy these what you see on screen just now. Moving on into the aiming settings now, so we're going to go into sensitivity multiplier, and as you can see here, that is pretty much standard here. Then we click on the advanced settings, and then we do the aim transition timing to instant. My aim response curve is dynamic, but you can set this to standard as well. Both work perfectly fine. I've just been used to using dynamic for the whole entire time, so that is what I prefer to use. Then we do have custom sensitivity per zoom, which is something you do want to change, and these are my settings right here, but again, this is what we're used to having before. Going back into the aiming settings here, we've got target aim assist, and you do want this on. Of course, this is going to help you with aim assist. Now, there's not any other additional aim assist settings here for different options, so I think this is just one standard option for everyone, so you can't really change that. Motion sensor you do want off, by the way. Quickly flying through the movement settings now. Now, this is where we've got some slight adjustments to previous titles because the movement is different with the omni-directional movement. Now, you do want tactical sprint assist set to on. This means you don't need to click the analog stick in constantly to get the tac sprint. However, there is a short delay before you actually tactical sprint, which is a weird way of doing it, but I think this is maybe to cancel people maybe reset the tac sprint somehow. Maybe with the Omnimovement, that is something they can do. So hopefully they remove this so that we can tac sprint immediately, because that is obviously what you're looking to do. But again, this is the setting you do want to have. Mantle assist, I personally have set to off. If you do need any mantle assist settings, then the best thing to do is to go into the private game and then fine tune it that way. You can see here, you can do it sideways, backwards, tactical sprint only, and mantle cancels reload as well, and crouch settings, but I have this all set to off because I feel like you just want to be able to mantle manually with the X button. Automatic mantle, again, similar thing here, I've got that turned to off. And with the tap and slide behavior, I've got tap to slide at the moment. Now, hybrid is available on this one, but you need to be sprinting as well as holding the button as well, which, to be honest, sometimes you don't sprint all the time because, again, with that tactical sprint issue is a bit weird, so that's why I've got it set to tap to slide. We've got the movement advanced settings now, so again, we've got the sprint behavior to toggle, auto move forward is off, grounded mantle is on, and the reason for that is because you only need to press the X button once and then it will mantle you over an object, for example. Sprint restore is on, obviously you want it to reset your sprint even without having to press the analog stick in. Again, this kind of goes with that automatic tac sprint thing. Slide maintain sprint, again, this is the movement type stuff, so you kind of want to keep your momentum going if you are sliding. Single tap to sprint just makes it easier, so you don't need to double tap any buttons and things like that. And then plunging underwater is free, sprint and door dash you want on. But we'll go on to combat settings now, and aim down sight you do want to have hold, ADS and melee. Then you do want to also have quick detonation as grouped, or you can do individual, it's personal preference here. Equipment behavior is hold, always. Manual fire behavior is press. Combat advanced settings now, we're going to get through this. This is the D-pad up button. You can change this to 2 different options, but personally, I just like to have it set to ping. Tactical sprint focus has changed zoom activation, so this is just a standard one. Instant weapon mount exit, I have changed this. And then you want prioritize interact for your reload interact behavior. Then we've got sprint cancels reload, I have that set to off. So that you can still slide and do other things. It'll basically slow down your movement, but you'll still get your reloads in, which is a bit more important in my personal opinion. But you can still move in general, obviously. And some perks, actually, I think in this game are going to help with movement and moving faster whilst reloading and things like that. Going over the graphic settings now, so what we do have here is full screen borderless. For my RTX 3070, these are the settings that I am using, and I'm using a 1080p monitor, by the way. So for aspect ratio at 16:9, we've got the standard one for this. The shaders, make sure the shaders are installed, your game will run weird without them. Brightness, I usually have my brightness set to 60, that's what I've been using for a long time now. Reflex low latency is on plus boost. Eco mode I have set to custom, or you can do it to efficiency, but it still lets you adjust the settings regardless anyway. I do have VSync on, and I do have VSync on in the menus as well, but if you know what you're doing with these, then obviously you can turn them off as well. Custom frame rate limit, I do have this set to 60 at the moment, just for the sake of this video, but obviously whatever your PC can handle, you obviously want to go up to that. You do want to have the menu render resolution set to optimal, this is the standard one, and pause game rendering off, and focus mode also off. Going into quality, obviously want to do this custom because we want to play around with the settings. Then render resolution I do have set slightly up, but you can pick the exact render resolution of your monitor or whatever is your personal preference with this one. Then dynamic resolution is off, you need to have this off. Fidelity FX CAS, I do have this on. And this is set to 30 for me. I know some people go all the way up to like 70 and stuff like that, but again, this is going to be similar to what you already have set at the moment. And I was playing around about 30-50, so that is the range I recommend personally, just for extra sharpness in the game. Texture resolution I've set to normal, anisotropic normal, depth of field off, nearby details high, particle resolution is low, bullet impacts on, persistent effects I have off at the moment, shader quality I do have high, on-demand texture streaming, we cannot turn this off for some reason, I don't know why. Even if you toggle this only changes the download limit, so there's no option to turn this off. I don't know if that was a purposeful thing, but I wish this was an option because there's no need for this. Local texture streaming quality I have set to low, shader quality, shadow quality is normal, screen space shadows off, ambient lighting high, or you can do like medium or normal. Reflections off, static reflection low, tessellation off, volumetric low. So view is again going to be part of console, so if you want to hear the console settings, this is it here. So you do want to have motion reduction off because you could change these settings anyway. You want to whack the field of view as high as you could possibly go, that is the way to do it, always. ADS field of view is affected, as always it should be. Weapon field of view wide so you can see as much as possible. And then we do have, again for vehicle field of view as well, motion blur off, weapon motion blur off, camera shake the least possible. Moving on into volume now, if you open up the master volume, you want to turn gameplay music off, dialogue volumes up, effects volume up, cinematic off as well. I do have the home theater setting right now. I've also tried the PC speaker one as well. I do think home theater sounds a little bit better to me. Going on to the interface stuff, I don't really want to cover the first page because this is all to do with like connection and things like that, and that's going to be all personal preference, but we want to go into the readability option. You want to go to color customization, and you do want to open this up. So you do want to do HUD color palette. I had this set to default because it will still keep everything like orange and things like that. But then when it comes to the actual filters in game, you do want to set color filter to filter 2. That is the best one that most people use. That's that Deuteranopia, whatever it's called. That is the one. I do have it set to both. Some people just use interface. Some people just use world. But that's personal preference, and I have it set to 75% because I don't think it needs to be all the way up, right? Then we're doing HUD, and again, this is all going to be on standard, but you do want the minimap shape to be square. Minimap rotation needs to be on. You can have the radar on as well, but that's personal preference. Compass type as minimap. One thing you do want to do before you do any games is jump into the combat arena and get a feel for the new movement system, because it is a little bit different to what we're used to. Now, the good thing is this Omnimovement thing allows for less dead slides and less dead slide cancels. That's one thing I've definitely noticed, because the reason for this is that you can actually slide in any direction now. So as you can see here, I'm sliding left and right, and it kind of stops the kind of dead slides and slide cancels now, which actually makes the movement feel a lot better. Now, if we weren't having that issue with that tactical sprint thing, then we'd be able to tactical sprint immediately as well, which would be a lot better. So I really hope that is a change that they do add in. And also, you are able to slide left, right, and backwards all at the same time. And the same goes for diving as well. So you could dive backwards, you can dive forwards, obviously, which is standard, and then obviously left and right. So this is the standard new movement system, and I'm assuming they'll add some perks to make this slightly better. But the good thing about this is as well, and the main thing I wanted to talk about, is the fact that you can shoot whilst doing all of these movements now. So first of all, the dolphin diving one. So OG dolphin diving is back, which is why this is going to be an absolutely broken mechanic, because you can actually aim down sight and shoot at the exact same time, which is perfect. And this works in all directions, if I can actually get it to work. So you can dolphin dive left and right, and it also works too. And this is where having one of those kind of pro controllers or on keyboard and mouse, it would work out slightly better, because you can bind the dive button and the slide button to different options. And again, similarly with sliding, we can slide and shoot as well, but that was kind of added in with the previous Warzone title anyway, or Modern Warfare game. So you can slide left and right and shoot as well, which is fantastic, and backwards, if I can actually get that to work. Now, sometimes it does look like it makes you stand up to do it, which is a bit odd, so that's just something to keep in mind. But what this means is, in a kind of movement setting, if you are sliding past, you can actually slide and shoot. You don't need to worry about kind of like stopping halfway, getting a dead slide, and then you're kind of stuck in the middle of the doorway, which is obviously not great. And then same goes with dolphin diving as well. And I think the forward dolphin dive is going to be the best. And then also we can drop shot too. Now, the issue with this is, like I said, you do want to be able to have the option to drop shot, slide, and dive, because the movement in this game is actually pretty good now. And that's something that I was genuinely looking forward to. But sometimes it gets a bit inconsistent if you've got a standard controller. So that is something we'll need to kind of see how it plays out, because we want to be able to bind these movements to different buttons now. So hopefully they actually add that just straight into the game. That is my only one criticism. But other than that, that is a quick guide to the movement and also all the settings you need to get started inside the Black Ops 6 beta. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you very much for watching.